Hey, everybody. We are back in the studio with The Next Right Step. I'm sitting here with Nano Lifestyle. I'll say good morning, Nano.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Nonstop, a.k.a. NM Lifestyle. Follow me on the Instagram. Holla.
And we got Ian McKee. You want to say hello, Ian?
Hello.
Okay, awesome. And we have a special guest here today, as promised. I've invited my new dear friend, John Flinn, to come talk with us today. Tying into our theme here of the next right step, one of the things that I was really motivated for when I made this move to Pacifica was making my creativity and my singing and my artistic expression being a bigger part of my life. And like a month after I moved here, there was this post on Facebook that said, hey, we're a band looking for a vocalist. If you're interested, DM me. And the poster was John. And I DM'd him, and I won't go into that whole story, but it's been, we rehearse every Tuesday. It's the first time I've ever been in a band. It's such a sweet group of people, and I feel like we're really learning and growing together. It's been a big part of me feeling acclimated here. So, and to boot, John's a really interesting person to talk to. He's got stories galore. He was the travel editor for the San Francisco Chronicle for quite a time. And he's lived in Pacifica for decades, I think.
30 years.
About 30 years, yeah.
Wow.
So we're super psyched to have him, and we'll kind of delve in. I've got some questions for John about, what did I say? Peace, progress, and Pacifica.
Hey. That's what's up. Before the podcast, John came over and he was walking up the stairs. He about to ring that doorbell. He probably did. I was like, hey, we're downstairs. So anyway, we got a good little intro. And turns out we actually met in passing over at the Eccentric Dance. So welcome in, John. I hope, we got a lot to talk about, and I see we got our nice little coffee going on. Where'd you get that from?
Oceana Market, right around the corner.
See, we got these little plugs out here.
Yeah, totally.
I mean? Anyways.
Just to appreciate your plug right there. And just following up on that, we did have the Ecstatic Dance Party on October 18th.
Wow.
And it was awesome. It was intimate, I'd say. We had maybe about 20, 25 people at the max.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in the house. It was definitely a vibe. I'm excited to do it again. There'll be another party of some kind happening probably second week of December. So, and again, my Instagram is at Portraits of Self-Care. So if you want to hear about future events, you can follow there.
You have some interested people that are like curious of how that went, and if they're welcome to the next one.
There was a lot of appetite, it seems like, for this kind of thing in Pacifica, so I'm excited.
Met a lot of great people.
Yeah, good. Well, and speaking of feeling excited, we're going to do our check-in.
Yeah.
Which is basically just each of us sharing something that's new and good going on. And I feel like let's try to be super positive today and say two things that are new and good. I can go first because I'm excited about these things. One is I'm psyched about Zoran Mondani winning in New York last night. I'm a little scared about it, but I am a little psyched about it. So there's that. And also, I was back in New York for Halloween, and the trip was just like super enriching, and it was kind of hard and heart tugging, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it was also like so amazing, and I saw Chess on Broadway.
Okay.
Which is like it's a great musical from the early 80s. that kind of never hit peak success like Les Mis or anything. But they've remade it on Broadway now with Aaron Tveit, who was in the Les Mis movie, who I first saw like 15 years ago on Broadway. And he's just like, he's such a powerful performer. And it was him and Leah Michele from Glee. And unfortunately, I don't remember the other actor's name, even though he was amazing and his voice was beautiful. But it was just, whenever I get a new piece of art that like tells a story in a really impactful, different way, it's like really inspiring for my songwriting and stuff. So that's been doing good for me.
Nice. So that's the one.
No, that's the two.
Oh, okay.
Well, Zoran Mamdani, I'm not sure that everybody, that would be there new and good, but I know my kids were really excited about that and my family back in New York. And I think I heard some people come into Winters last night being like, Zoran!
Hey.
So there are a few people in Pacifica who support
nobody's
that.
as happy about it as the people at Fox News, though.
Yeah, right.
You're going to give them programming for the next couple of years.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What's up with you, John? What's two things we can point out?
Do they have to be like national things, or can they just be like
just
stuff going on?
very personal. It could be a new pair of shoes you got.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited. Our band we're getting ready to do a little Christmas show in a couple of weeks, and we've been rehearsing for that and learning some new songs, and that's been very exciting and fun. And what else? And I'm happy Prop 51 too. And it won big. It won huge, actually. And
Absolutely. Right on, man. So that's amazing. Good. It's gonna, we're gonna keep unfolding and seeing where we're at in the landscape of this podcast world, the next right step. What's going on? So for me, I've been doing my streaming, my gaming. It's therapeutic. I get off of work, check in with my kids, and then when I get home, I'm set up already. I just got a new mic this morning, so I was happy about that. Tried it out. So it's been real good, having a real balance in my life. And then still sober today. So I'm very grateful for that. And it's been very interesting not being like, because they say it's attraction and not promotion. So I'm not like, I don't like to like say it all out loud. You don't have to talk about it all the time, but I love it. You know what I mean? I got some new merch coming out. It says I kill zombies to stay sober. So it's like, it's a tie-in with my gaming and we'll talk more, but so those are the two little positive things going on.
That's awesome. I also noticed you're wearing matching gear today.
Yeah. Pacifica Bike Park. Shout out JR, shout out Spent, shout out the whole Pacifica Bike Park, community. They've been working on that for years. Ian knows. We just, and that's where I seen you that day. They had the event, the bike park event.
I was there for the fundraiser. Yeah.
Does it exist yet? Is it built? Or you're just raising money for it, or
they're just raising awareness and raising money.
And you have a location?
There is a bike park over there. Where's it at? Ian and Lindemar?
Yeah, they're talking about putting it below Frontierland in that extra lot. There's that empty lot that has just bathrooms at it. They're gonna do it there, but like all the fundraising and stuff is more for like, they want to put a lot into infrastructure because the bike park is not that expensive compared to like a skate park, even depending on what materials they use. But they want to build like a big parking lot and better bathrooms and stuff. So that's what's taking them forever.
And what goes into a bike park? What is a bike park?
Well, that's the thing. It could be they could just tell kids like, all right, it's okay, you guys can build here. And then they would build a bike park themselves free of charge, just being allowed to ride somewhere. Like just digging one. You could throw the dirt and make a sick bike park. Mm-hmm. But they're holding off on it because they want to put like $1 million plus into a parking lot, which I think is kind of dumb. They should just tell them to start building it,
Yeah. Right, so Pacifica Bike Park. Thank you. So they're holding out for $1 million or so to set up the infrastructure. And is there some controversy about whether that's the right path, or you're just kind of noticing? I mean,
no, it's just taking forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the thing. Justin's been on that committee for like, I don't know, like 5+ years, like going to weekly meetings, and they haven't got any dates or any go ahead fully yet.
But we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
You're definitely in progress.
It was a good event.
My piece is just, I support wholeheartedly, I'm behind it. It's a positive thing. He grew up, him, Ian, all these guys are out here in this community, like the biking, the skating, the outdoors, just the outdoor endeavors is just good for the youth, good for the community. It promotes like really positive like events and stuff. It ties in with entertainment,
100%.
music. John, you guys know it's like, if I got my kids, they're here. So it's like, that's just another added component to like in a positive thing for the community, for the kids. So
100%.
just behind it, and shout out the bike park, man.
Yeah. I don't want to take too much time on this because we have other stuff to get to, but I'll just say I was just back in New York, like I said, and it's so striking the difference in how connected to nature and like in their bodies the kids are when they are doing stuff. I just feel like there's so much more presence here, just sort of naturally. Yeah. Although that might be me. Maybe I'm just way more embodied here, but I did notice that.
For sure.
Okay. So, hi, John.
Hello.
I saw you yesterday at practice. So maybe a good place to start would be the band's name. Okay. Maybe you could talk about the name and where it comes from, because I just joined the band a few months ago and it was already named when I got there, and I gather this is a group that's been going on for kind of a while. So.
A couple of years, yeah. We're the Foggy Dogs, and the name came about because we had a group of us, our dog owners, and we would meet at Oceana High School every afternoon and let the dogs run around and run together. And then several of us from the dog group took up guitars during COVID and started playing together. And so since we're in Pacifica and we're the dog group, we're the Foggy Dogs. It's as simple as that.
That's a groovy name. Foggy Dog.
Foggy Dogs. Yeah. But that's not our group chat.
No, we're the Spanish version of that, which I can't even remember, and only because we had an earlier one that we needed to discontinue, and I didn't want people using the old one.
Okay, well that answers some questions for me anyway. I'm sure everybody was deeply curious.
We could probably change the group chat.
No,
too.
I like it.
Okay.
So you formed the band during COVID.
Yeah. During COVID, I also, my wife was very ill, and so I was home taking care of her I really didn't leave the house much for about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And in the middle of it, a friend, Paul Toda, came over and said, "You need a hobby," and brought over a guitar and put it in my hands. And I've never musical at all. And he taught me a few chords. And I'm like, I can actually, with 3 chords, I can actually play music. And then I went over to his house, and he had an electric guitar, a Stratocaster, plugged into an amp with a little distortion. And the minute I played one note on that, I fell in love. I'm like, I was meant to do this. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And so it was really about 4 years ago, I think, that I started. And a couple of other people in the band either were starting up or had played when they were younger and started playing again. And it was a whole new world. I mean, it was never musical at all. My teacher says that music is just rhythm and pitch, and anyone who's ever seen me try to dance or sing knows I have none of either of them. And so it was a little shock to me that I could actually, make music. Yeah. Oh, I should point out too is I don't even play guitar in our band.
Right.
We had enough guitar players, so I took one for the team and took up bass.
And started learning bass.
Nice.
So I played bass anyway. Yeah, in that band.
Yeah, it's great. We're all learners. I love that about it. And you and Paul met as journalists at the San Francisco Chronicle.
No,
right?
Actually, it was at a little weekly newspaper in Menlo Park.
Wow!
About 45 years ago.
Wow!
Yeah. Look at that.
That's
we stayed
a good
in touch
old
ever
friend.
since. Yeah. And I stayed in journalism. He went into education and, ended up teaching English at St. Ignatius High and was their communications director. And
awesome. And then eventually reading poetry out loud at my ecstatic dance party.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah. And he does, during Earth Day, he always sets up a booth to have kids write poetry about pelicans or whales and stuff.
Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning. This is nice. So, there were a few reasons I thought it'd be fun to interview you on the podcast. I mentioned you've got lots of fun stories, but you also have this lens on cities and experience through the eyes of a travel journalist, which is really an added perspective. And so I'm curious about, if you agree, if you have this lens and what that lens kind of looks for in a city when you go to a new place.
I suppose so. I mean, I don't think I'm unusual as a traveler that when I'm places, I think, oh, it'd be nice to live here. And, I'm always walking through some little village in the Cotswolds at night and stopping at the real estate office and looking at the listings in the window and thinking, oh, I could afford that to live. I could afford to live here. So I get a sense for what aspects of other communities I like. And I've lived in the Bay Area most of my life, mostly in the South Bay. Used to be called Santa Clara Valley. Now it's Silicon Valley. And I was, what happened was my wife was a executive in Silicon Valley. She was a public relations executive. And so we lived close to her jobs, and I commuted into the city at the Chronicle. And then she had to retire because of her health, and we were looking to move closer to work. And I visited Paul here and realized we have a place with nature, hiking, you can see whales, there's red-tailed hawks overhead, and you're only 20 minutes from downtown San Francisco.
Sure.
And decided to move here. And it's what I like about it, and again, I've noticed about other places I've liked, they're self-contained units. When I lived in Mountain View, you're never quite sure when you're in Los Altos or Sunnyvale or
Right.
Palo Alto or Mountain View. It all bleeds together. And Pacifica, you either have to go over a mountain, under a mountain, or across an ocean to get here. And so it's a separate place. You're either in Pacifica or you're not in Pacifica.
For sure.
And so our local institutions all are very inward-looking. People really support the Spindrift players. Rather than go into the city and see a show, they'll go see the Spindrift players. And, we've got a good independent bookstore that's been here for 30 years at least. The whole time I've been here, Florey's, and they've always got local authors, and they're well supported. And when my wife was looking for something to do after she retired from public relations, she decided that she wanted to get into an environmental thing. And so she and a couple of friends just founded a group called the Pacifica Beach Coalition, which is to pick up garbage on the beach. And originally, for the first 6 months or so, the whole organization could fit on the couches in my living room. And you could feed the whole organization with a large pizza.
Yeah.
And now, largely thanks to Lynn Adams, who took over after Jerry had to quit because of her health again. But there's like 18,000 volunteers now, and they do beach cleanups
huge.
all over the coast.
Crazy.
It's a
Founded here?
huge organization.
18,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all
That's amazing.
That's like 20% of the population of Pacifica.
Well, they're not all from Pacifica.
Okay.
They get a lot of people.
That's incredible.
No, that's actually that's
part
about
of
2/3 of the population
you're
of
in it.
Pacifica. But no, they get people all over the Bay Area will come. Corporations will sponsor cleanups and send people out, and they do. I think it's all the San Mateo coast and maybe in the Marin a little bit too, and some of the Bay beaches. So. It's become a huge, huge, huge group.
Great.
Wow.
That just brings to mind, how we can continue to add ourselves and contribute. It's like there's already programs, John, stuff like that. So I'm interested. I'm going to ask you some more about that. We can get that involved.
But if they have an interest in town, I think you can do something and you can make an impact here that you couldn't if you lived in Mountain View, really.
Yeah,
100%.
It's that's what I love about the town, though. It's really... I always say it's in the Bay Area, but it's not of the Bay Area. It's really separate from that. It's like an enclave. It's really not part of the Bay Area, I think. And
it does feel separate.
It is. For me, John, just getting to know, my girl and my kids live here. They're all born and raised here, and they all live around here, Sharp Park, Manor. And so, me being an outsider, Sarah can say the same. It's like, when I first stepped foot in here, I kind of was like, all right, this is like a really conservative place. This is my first, my initial idea on it. But then started to go out a little more, meet some people. That's what it's really all about. So this was where I was able to like fill out my landscape of music. This one I met Ian, this is right here in the same studio is where I recorded my first sound, my first song. So it is unique for me for like, as far as like exploring. It's like an exploration kind of place for me, coming from the city where you see buildings and streets and stuff like that. And then coming over here, and I still haven't hiked all this, like the forestry out here. Like I've done a few hikes, but it's places. Like, there's more. You know what I mean? You keep going down and you just find out new things. And Sarah was talking about it in the last podcast of just how much nature is in your vision, like, and you can't deny it. It's like the ocean, trees, like all of that.
I can look out my window and see whales.
Exactly. So,
it's amazing.
It has an effect
just
in that
sense.
It's very unique in that sense, like, because, just like you have access to the city and you're going to get the city, but as soon as you come here, so there's a bunch of components here that's like well invested for the community.
And it's just good to notice, like, that if I'm in a position of, I don't know how long I'm going to be living in Pacifica, but just to be reflective, like if you notice what it is about those things and how it makes you feel, then you can start to take that with you other places, So like when I breathe in and I kind of breathe in the ocean and it gives me the sense of energy and abundance, I'm like trying to memorize that feeling. So I can come back to it at other points. And so it becomes like a touch point, they call it, or touchstone, they call it, to find that emotion again. And I guess that kind of leads into my next question, which was about, I think just seems to me that travel, I guess I'm curious about your sense of travel as like being supportive of one's mental health. Like, what does traveling, do you think, give a person in their life that supports their wellness?
There's a great quote, and I can't remember who said it now. I think it was that Johnson guy, the English guy, but he said, travel is fatal to prejudice. That if you have biases and prejudice about places, you go there and you realize it's nothing like you thought. And it's very humbling. Whatever we think about the world, go and mix yourself up in it and you realize it's not what you thought. And it's a lot more complex. And, maybe you should be a little more humble in your opinions about things, that it's a wide place. There's whatever you're looking for, you can find, but it's probably not exactly what you're thinking.
For me, it's for what I get is you got to see it for yourself instead of speculating and observing from afar. Go there, go to those places. So,
and the nice thing is too, when you travel to a place and meet some people, you feel like part of that place now is part of you. And example I'll give is like when the war broke out in the former Yugoslavia back in the 90s. After it broke up in, Serbia and Croatia and Bosnia, they're all fighting with each other. And I just thought back to a time I was hanging out in Slovenia with a guy who claimed to be the number 2 Elvis impersonator in Slovenia.
Wow. Yes.
He wasn't the number 1, but he was the number 2.
The fact that he was number 2 is just like,
And
do you have a great Elvis?
Yeah, so we hung out all night, and he didn't speak much English. His band members had to translate. And he knew all the songs phonetically. He didn't know what the word. He didn't know what he was singing about. But he was a pretty good Elvis impersonator. But then, and then a year later, the war breaks out, and I thought, I'm just picturing this guy, huddled under, beneath a wall with gunfire going off and everything, and singing "Love Me Tender" to himself to calm himself down or something. But I felt like I had a sort of a connection because I knew. Not just him, but I knew people that were going to be involved in this. And so whether it's Tibet or Germany or anywhere, when stuff happens, now you have friends there, and it's like you feel connected to those places, and they're part of you.
Right on. That's a Slovenia story right there. But so you've been to, like, what's the number one, like a memorable place or a moment that you can speak on, like, where in terms of travel?
Okay, that's hard. I mean,
I gotta live through you.
I traveled, probably 12 weeks a year for 15 years, which is a lot. So I've been to a lot of places. The places I tend to go back to, I love the mountains. I go back to the Himalayas very often, but also other ranges, the Andes and the Alps, and I love the people of the mountains. I love, Sherpas and people who live in the mountains. I find really interesting. I've spent a good part of my time there, and used to do a lot of hiking and climbing and things like that.
Okay.
I love Great Britain. My family's British, and we all come from Northern England, and I always feel like the first time I went there, I sort of felt like I've come home. Like suddenly everyone gets my jokes, and and I like hiking in Britain too. I like walking, and where else? I go to Hawaii a lot, and I love Hawaii. These are just places I go back to again and again and again. Sure. I tended to most of my traveling career, I was more of a kind of a outdoors kind of country person rather than a city person, and then. Later, as I got older, I began to appreciate cities. So it took me a long time to get to some of the major cities and really explore them.
In retrospect, I work at a place where it's a venue that is very touristy. So I get people traveling into San Francisco and telling me how great it is over here and the buildings and the colors. And it's amazing to hear that because I'm born here, grew up here. And I haven't been to half of these places that these people say that they go, aside from the monumental, like the Crooked Road, you got to hit the bridge and all these other places in the city. And I'm just I just go from my house and I commute to work, but it gives me a sense of appreciation of where I'm at. And then Pacifica is a part of that because I tell people about Pacifica when they're coming into San Francisco, and there's people that actually took my word. I'm like, well, if you're in here for a couple more days, go down to Longboard, go down to Winters.
Stay here, get your motel in here rather than. It's like when I go to London now, I love London, but it's a bit much, and so there's a little area of London called Hampstead, which is basically it's a separate village.
Yeah.
Within London, and you feel like you're out in the country. So what I do is at the end of my day, I just hop on the tube and go out to Hampstead, and now I'm in a small village out in the country, even though technically I'm still in London.
Yeah.
I sort of feel that way about Pacifica. It's like at the end of the day of, being in San Francisco, you can kind of breathe and relax a little bit. It's a lot more relaxed here.
Oh, my goodness.
You can walk around and not worry about parking and things like that. And so
John knows his stuff.
People have taken me up on it. It's and again, if you want to pop in the city, 20 minutes to downtown.
No, for sure.
I'm trying to get all my New York friends to get over here while I have a place to host them.
When I was at the Chronicle, I had a colleague who lived in the Mission District, and I could get to work faster than he could.
Yeah.
Even though we worked at 5th and Mission, I could get to the office from Pacifica faster than he could get there from. He lived near Mission Dolores, and
the traffic is crazy, and we talked about that. Where I think you brought it up. Instead of over here in the U.S., instead of making infrastructure based on pedestrians and they're making fire lanes and you know what I mean, making it more suitable to that. And just to sidetrack, we were all there, static dancing. So I was able to make it on Saturday night, and that was kind of the main where everybody, the entertaining part of it. And I was like, well, I'm going to make that part for sure.
Well, you were invited to the whole retreat.
Yeah.
So the Ecstatic Dance Right was a public facing event, but it was the center of a retreat I was hosting.
Well, let's step back a little then. Let's talk about the whole retreat.
Are we going to? It was great. So I've been, I've talked about Tickled in here before, and I've been hosting these Tickled pop-up events for a long time, and I co-facilitated a retreat in upstate New York at this place called Menla, which is pretty amazing. It's like the Dalai Lama's chosen place in North America or something like that, and very, very, very beautiful property. And one of my big things, about moving out here is that I wanted to start hosting retreats. And so wherever I inhabited in Pacifica was going to be sort of the laboratory for what I could do if I eventually was able to run a retreat center, which is sort of like what I dream of doing, like an arts-based retreat center. Anyway, And so this was the manifestation of the first like retreat of this vision in Pacifica. And it was awesome. I mean, it ended up being very intimate. I thought we had about 7 people, and then by the time it started, we had 4. But that ended up being really beautiful. And we had a great, I mean, the idea was kind of to each move a little bit toward one of our goals or hopes, like sort of understand it better together.
Absolutely.
And push ourselves a little further along. And I used an exercise over the course of the weekend called the 27 Stories.
Oh.
And so each of us, on night, they didn't know this was going to happen before they came, but this is sort of the journey we went on together. And so like over dinner, we started brainstorming each 27 of our greatest accomplishments.
Wow.
And then there was a silent kind of like from then until bedtime was silence, and the hot tub was open and there was music on and you could go around, but you weren't talking. You were sort of reflecting on your 27 greatest accomplishments. And then we were going to meet in the morning for breakfast. So it went on like that, and we moved through that and then kind of learned about each other and shared reflections back with each other. And it was really, I think, everything specific about it would be confidential to the people who are in the room. But it was a really lovely journey. I think everybody who was there would say that it really was kind of profound in how it helped them go forward. So it felt great. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, for sure. Well, What's funny, I was thinking about it was how this all ties into even this podcast, The Next Right Step. So you got here, you got a job, you got a podcast, you're in a band. It's like, I'm like, but like Sarah, when I got there, that's when it completed. It came full circle when I got there on Saturday. I was like, she really knows how to bring people together. I mean, she brought her friend from France, and I was just like, I was just overjoyed at like knowing that I was supposed to be there. I was like, this all made sense. So I loved it. It was amazing. It was like super healing, and everybody was like, we were able to like talk about what we were going through in the safest way.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it. And I got to know people. Like John, I'm sitting here talking to you, and you've traveled 1,000 places, and I'm just here, and I'm along for the ride. So I appreciate you, Sarah, for that. And go to the ecstatic dancing. I'm an advocate of it because it was part of my journey of like, okay, let me try something new. Let me see what this is about. And then so get off of work, and I'm like, all right, and I kind of was dressed right there. Like I had the brownish. I was like, let me put the like nature tone on. So did all that. Nervous it wasn't like super nervous. It was something new. And anytime you're doing something new out of your comfort, you don't know what to expect, which is exactly, which is the greatest part of what it was all about, was like, you don't know. Just like the podcast, we don't know, but it's amazing. We're doing it.
Yeah.
You guys, the Foggy Dog, you know what I mean? Like you guys definitely came together in a unique way, and the journey is what makes it all. That's the excitement. It's like the goal isn't the song. It was like, how do we get there? You know what I mean? The story about the song is what is more amazing. So I just wanted to add that in. And I'm saying, like, I'm starting to see like where things are falling into place, and there's reasons, and you know what I mean? So
I do.
It's the right step.
It's been the next right step. It has been for sure. And like it, that kind of blew me away for a minute. Thank you so much for reflecting that back. And that's been my goal, and the primary sort of like the driving question of what, the trust that I'm running, like what we've been trying to achieve is like, what happens if you start with a safe space?
Yeah.
Just create the safe space.
For sure.
Make the invitations and see what emerges, and so like that's what, and we'll do more ecstatic dances. I will probably do other kinds of events. I really want to start kind of a salon series, like a topic based salon series at the house.
What was the DJ? I gotta get the DJs, man. I got
DJ Nolan. That's not what he calls himself.
Yeah.
Sorry, I call him DJ Nolan because I think of him as Nolan and he's a DJ.
Is it
And
Compass?
Compass,
Yeah, Compass.
You can look up Compass on Spotify, Kompass, and he's based out of Mexico. He comes up to the Bay Area once a year and does a bunch of gigs up here. He's just an amazing journey leader. Like ecstatic dance is sort of like the music is designed to take you from one place to another.
You curated. He helped us get through that. Like just
Totally.
John, I think you left, but it was one of those situations. The music was playing, and I'm pretty sure you guys had a great conversation, and you guys were just networking. Because as soon as I got there, I just felt like the vibe was just frequency was high. And I got there, then I got high.
Well, John was there from the very beginning. And we had like a little movement workshop at the beginning, so the vibe was probably pretty different.
Well, let me ask you, John. You're part of it. You're very when you got there, how was your experience? Like, what was your take on that?
Well, it's really out of my comfort zone. I'll say this,
For sure.
but Sarah made it very comfortable, and I'm not really a touchy-feely kind of guy, but I enjoyed it, and it was a new experience, as I say, and it felt very
Maybe you could
welcome.
describe what the workshop was about from your perspective.
Well, let's see. We would pair up and we would touch each other.
Nice,
but not that way.
Not with our hands.
No, but with wrap our shoulders and our arms around each other and back to back, and I don't know how to explain.
I think nobody will come ever to one of these events.
You know what? It felt like that when I was a kid. There was a game called Twister. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
It was like a standing up version of Twister.
I love it. Yeah, it was contact improv, so it was like just a beginning sense of like. I think it's funny the way you see it in this whole. How everything has two perspectives.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, well, you just lean your back up against the person and kind of just sort of gently notice where they're moving and notice that you're touching somebody else and what it feels like, the resistance. But for John, it's like we're touching each other. It's good. I mean, it's good to remember that. And I want to just say real quick, all of that is completely optional. You can be in another room. You don't have to be there for that. It's just an offering. But also in the dance, like you never have to touch another person, and there's not even any talking during the dance part of an ecstatic dance. It's just for your own experience. So just putting it out there. But it was fun. I had fun. I think it ended up being fun.
I'll say this because I didn't go to. I didn't have any of that. I didn't do any of the dancing or the touching. But I will say, as a disclaimer, it's like this is absolutely optional, absolutely suggestive.
Totally.
Obviously, just like anything. Like when Ian invited me over for the painting, like I was kind of telling him like, well, I don't know how to paint, and he was just like, exactly, like you just come over here. That's what we get tied up in is like, okay, well, it's such a foreign thing that we don't want to try it. Which is exactly the element, like when you're traveling, that when you go somewhere, you don't know what it's about. It's a cultural thing. It's like, come learn. So I would say kudos to you on that. Because I wanted to ask you about the contact part. Like for that specifically, like, is that like literally just a comfort thing? Like, is a part of like engagement in terms of like, hey, like I'm very present in this moment, No,
it's about movement.
Okay.
Totally about movement. It's not about a relationship between you and I guess it's about being in tune.
Okay.
It's about being present and not just in your own experience. And it's also about embodiment. We can be very in our heads. And I think it's also about transfer of energy. It's about sharing.
Absolutely.
And kind of moving the vibration throughout the room and sharing your experience on, we don't use touch very much to communicate, but touch is definitely a way we can communicate. And it's not always sexual. In fact, really in the history of humankind, touch is like maybe 5 to 10% sexual. There's so many other things we can communicate. And so it can be about all of those things. It can be about whatever of those things you're thinking about.
Yeah.
It's just like, and we're pretty touch starved and lonely as a culture.
Right.
So it's a place where people, I think the ecstatic dance community is a place where people come to just like be and feel safe and be in their bodies and feel safe together and play.
Right.
It's a lot about play.
Yeah.
And kind of laughing and noticing and getting it wrong and communicating without words, So it's a way of meeting people sort of on a different level.
Just like a frequency adjustment.
Yes,
it's like,
totally. I love that you just said that. Yes, exactly.
I came from work, you know what I mean? And I came, like I said, when I got
frequency adjustment. Amen.
And everybody was just in tune. It wasn't like, obviously, you're always going to have the jitters and like, meeting somebody. And sometimes you get that awkward moment. But I ended up, and you weren't even there, I ended up like spitting a poem, like a spoken word / it's a verse.
Yeah, you blew them away.
Yeah, and I kind of, it was inviting, it was there. It happened naturally, and that's what ties in with Nolan. Like he really like navigated. I don't know if that was like a set that he had already made, but he
designed it
really
for this
navigated.
event.
Like we ended the conversation on like a very ambient sound. I was like, is that? Because as soon as I was like, man, that was great. And then it was like, I was like, did he do that on purpose? And I made a note, I was like, man, you definitely, I want to introduce you to him. He was great. And then,
he's awesome.
And then we got to have the conversation. He was talking about where he's from and Mexico and stuff like that. So, that's my version of it. Yeah. And when there was a lot of ice cream and chocolates and sweets, I ate up all the watermelon. But I'm like, I was like, she's on to something, man. Like, because it was all kinds of good things. And that's the fun thing about any type of venue event stuff. Because, like I work in security, so I'm seeing pieces and elements of like what makes it work. You know what I mean? And like you said, John, like you come over here in Pacifica, there's just a little bit of everything. There's just enough so that you can appreciate, why you're here and when you're here in Pacifica and you're along the way. Even if you're here for 30 years, it's almost as if you're still along the way out here. So that's amazing.
So let me tie this back into Pacifica for a minute here.
Yeah.
So one day at band practice, our conversation wandered. It might have been after recording the first episode of the podcast. And I might have talked about the conversation with CJ about the pier and stuff. And John mentioned an idea that's, I don't know, been floated around or you've had. I don't know where it came from, but I thought it was an interesting idea to put out there and talk about why we supported it or didn't support it. Not that we should debate it, but just like where it came from, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And
I guess, the background is that the pier needs to be repaired, and it's
Amen.
A lot of money. I don't know how much it is, but it's
Amen.
a lot.
Yeah.
And where's that money going to come from? And I was just going to suggest that at least some of it come from, put a turnstile and charge a token amount, $1 maybe, to go out on the pier. And that way that the people using it have some buy-in. And it'll get I think if people in the rest of the city see them contributing, they're more likely to say, well, let's put some of the city's money into it as well.
That's it.
But I think it's controversial. I know a lot of people feel very strongly that you shouldn't charge to go out there.
That's
but I'm like, but we charge people to park at Lindemar, now, and at the beach, but if it was a token amount, like who couldn't have a spare $1 to put in to go out on the pier? I wouldn't charge a lot, but then there's the practical thing of whatever system you have for collecting the money, if you're not careful, ends up costing you more than if you just let everybody go in for free.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just what do you guys think about it?
You raise a good point about buy-in. And it reminds me I don't love the idea of putting a turnstile. I feel like the experience of the beach should feel open. But there's all that parking along the pier that we don't charge for.
Yeah.
And so maybe we start charging for that. Yeah. And that's buy-in, and people have to either, and that brings more more revenue from the public traffic that's wearing down the streets and the pier isn't maybe another way to get buy-in. But I was going to say that, like, just reflecting on cities, when I visited Bologna in Italy, they have a couple of really landmark architectural structures that were built with community money by families kind of buying a section of the either the church or the portico. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they have this like mile-long portico. And I might have talked about this on here before. All along it, each section is kind of owned by a different family, and that family could paint it and decorate it in whatever way to represent their family's values, and they could put names on it or quotes or whatever. And art, a lot of art, portraits. But that was how the community afforded it. And the portico leads up to the church, which is on the top of this mountain. And it took, hundreds of years to build. And all along, the community kind of bought into it. And one of the things when I first moved here that I noticed was that little trail, like between the quarry and Rockaway Beach, where they have something like that.
Community gardens,
The community gardens, it's so beautiful. I love that. I think it's such a cool way for a community to take care of something.
Yeah, if people haven't been out there, it's everyone's different and they're unique. Some of them are funny, and they're all very personal. There must be 25 of them, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Little patches that people have out there, and but it's really something to see. It's really. I walk by there almost every day, so I tend to take it for granted. But whenever I have a visitor, they're always like, "Wow, I got to check out every one of them."
Yeah. Well, like, what if we had, if local families could invest in the pier by buying a section of it that their family could sort of renovate and make their own contribution to the community?
Yeah.
And I love the ideas that I'm hearing, because it's basically we're all going forward, and where it could be suggestive that we, at least to have the conversation of suggesting that we kind of put in the pot, because that's what a community does, right? But also a community doesn't have to necessarily be like, it's not have to be like a forceful thing, but it's just an awareness, because we do know one thing, that we want to save the pier. So if we continue to have that conversation as we had when CJ brought it up, because let's look back when he was talking about his bar, when he was talking about, I don't want to charge. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things that he stood on. There's no cover. You can go in there.
You can go in there and have a whole night of amazing live music for free.
Exactly.
I mean, I think you should buy something.
So
just personally, but
right. And what does he do? He challenges the patrons with the, here's the other part of the entertainment. Here's a beer. It's a couple of dollars more. You're still going to enjoy yourself. You still have a free show. So those are like moving pieces. Is the question is, can we do it? Can this be a doable thing? Because I don't know the numbers, John. I mean, you might know it, but I don't.
It's a big number. And I'm guessing is the conversation about shall we do this or this or that, it's going to be, no, all of it and more. We have to do all of them and 10 times more too.
Totally.
So then in those questions of this part that like suggestive or yes, let's charge it, I want to be in the conversation of like, what can we do tomorrow? And then let's actually talk about doing it. When you spoke on the people that clean the beach and stuff like getting them involved, because if they've been running and it's founded here and it's 18K people, they're going to have a huge say or like a piece of like an idea that they can speak on that can help, because they had to start something and we had to, unfortunately, we got to keep the lights on, and that's what it is.
Who's the mayor right now? Does anybody know?
We'll cut this part out. That's kind of like nobody knows the mayor.
I haven't been able to. Nobody I've spoken to knows who the mayor is.
Something I complain about.
I know who used to be the mayor.
Yeah, we all know who our governor is and our president and the Speaker of the House, but we don't know our own mayor.
I think Leo for mayor. Seriously.
Oh shit! And I'll run too.
Seriously.
Okay, no,
I like that idea.
Seriously though. But I'm gonna look that up. I always I'm big on that. Even with any media, with everything that I do, it's like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know everything. But it's something that I should know, right? We're having a conversation about
the only
community.
reason I'm asking is like maybe the thing we could go right now is like try to go talk to the mayor.
Yeah,
or invite her or him on the podcast.
So, John, you were saying the pieces, and there's one. But another thing is action, right? Or if we're doing things, that's step. Like, wow, like well, look at that little pond over there, and then it's gonna raise a question because you know how I know when I go to my AA meetings and I let people know and get the link here, it piques interest. It's like, what, man? Like, and so the conversation alone, like, you could talk about it, and we could also like be a part of whatever, like. And I know the Foggy Dog is going to be, playing in the, you know what I mean? Like we put ourselves in the lineup. It's like, hey, come see this, this, and this. And then it's our own shameless plug, but it's happening. Like, why are we even in the band? We're not in the band to prove to people that we can be in one. We're in one because we want to, right? And we share that moment. The music is part of like that expression, just like the uncomfortable, a frequency adjustment,
and fun. But then the fun and
all of it.
Let's not focus on the uncomfortable part.
No, well, it's because I like to speak on it because it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the process.
Yeah.
And if you're able to take that step, you'll see that it's like, wow, it's actually fun. It's nice.
But you were before you were uncomfortable, you were excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's the excitement we're going for. It's kind of the excitement and of like what I can show up for, like what's possible if I show up for myself in this way and go to this event.
Absolutely.
The mayor of Pacifica is Sue Beckmeyer.
There we go.
Her email's up here.
That's my guy right there.
All right.
But
there's a vice mayor,
that
Christine Bowles.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They all got phone and email. Well, some of them have their phone number.
Send me the link. Send me the link.
Shout out to Sue, man. You're doing a great job.
Yeah,
first and
really.
foremost.
It's a beautiful place to live. I would just love to, maybe we can brainstorm together
absolutely
at some point and see if there's a way we can help support the town in advancing,
I think
our resilience. I think that's
naming rights to the pier. Naming rights. It could be the Chevron Pier or something like that.
Oh God, yeah.
Well,
Find a sponsor.
Yeah, have them throw in a couple of million to put their
branding
name on it. Yeah, well, that's the way to get some.
So one of the main draws is fishing. Like everyone's out there fishing all the time. Like
for sure.
Probably at least half of the people that go out there are fishing. There must be some way to get some of maybe some of the fishing permit money or something can go to the pier because they're already charging them to fish there. They should that should be part of it.
Where does it go currently? To the county?
I don't know.
I think it's a state license you get, isn't it? And do you need a license to fish in the ocean?
Is anybody enforcing a license out there?
I think for crabbing, which is what they do a lot of times.
Yeah. They are enforcing the licenses?
I think for crabbing, yeah.
We're wondering whether you needed to throw your line in the ocean. Do you need a permit? I don't know if you do.
Yeah.
You might not.
I mean,
lakes and streams.
That's another revenue source that we could try to start to tap.
Yeah.
Actually, enforce parking and that sort of stuff on the pier.
Or if you could do some kind of, I don't know if you could have a fishing event or something, because you know how the events have huge draw, the Pacifica, the biggest traffic in Pacifica was the dog surfing competition.
Maybe.
So if they could do something like that for,
that's a cool idea.
For the pier or for fishing in some way. I don't know much about fishing, but
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you could draw all those people and then you'd have a huge event.
That would be a
huge draw. I mean, it would be it's an event. The people that are familiar with it are definitely going to be, the competition part of it.
Yeah.
And then the fun. Like for me, I don't do any of that. So I'm just going to go and watch and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I actually think that's a great note to end on.
Absolutely.
This has been a really lovely conversation. Thank you, John.
Thanks for
joining us. John Flinn of the Foggy Dogs. I think I'm going to do an Instagram account, I think.
What time we got?
10:28.
Okay. Because I wanted to ask,
at least
give me one.
I won't go there yet. I'm just going to chill. You lead first.
I'm a music person, but real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about music. Oh, yeah, we got tons of music stories.
So, right now you're playing the bass in Foggy Dog, and you're the lead, or you just
I'm sort of, it's in my house, so I suppose I'm sort of leader of the group. Okay. I don't know. But.
Oh, yeah. We're in a very similar, not similar, but similar in that it's a basement studio. John's got a great studio down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So do we have a selection so far? Are you guys working on a project? Do we have songs? What do we got here?
I don't know. We probably have about 10 songs in our repertoire.
wow.
Plus we're doing 5 Christmas songs for our group, but we're learning new songs
15.
all the time.
That's actually a lot.
Yeah.
So the start of Foggy Dog is not you're coming into the band. It was already
we've
existing.
been around for a year or two before.
Okay. Man, I love
Sarah
it.
was here. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear some music, and
and we do some original songs. This is Sarah. She gets tired of me saying this, but it's written.
I don't get tired.
Okay, but
of
anyway, many good ones. But one in particular, I think, is just it should be a hit record. I mean, you should be hearing it on the radio. It's really good. And Paul and I write some too that aren't quite as good and aren't quite as ready for
the Rodeo Cowboy.
You
I've
guys
been thinking we got
recorded
to
it?
come back to it.
What's that?
Have you guys put it down? Is it like a song that I can?
No, we haven't recorded it.
Oh man.
No.
Well,
Yeah, we just
talk
been
to me after
practicing
the
it.
podcast.
Okay.
I'll let you know my contract. It's all proceeds go to the pier. No,
You want to produce it?
man, I want to be involved. You already
Okay.
know. Like I'm a big advocate of like.
I'd love to produce some of my music. I would be down.
And it doesn't have to be, we can go from scratch. We can write a new song. We can lay down one of your originals.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be a part of it.
Yeah, we haven't even
Thanks.
started on any of mine yet. I've got
Yeah.
3 or 4 that
Yeah, I haven't
we
heard
could
any of yours yet.
be
even.
working on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know
I'd
this
love
isn't the biggest studio ever, but I've tracked like 5-piece bands in here.
to. Nice.
Wow.
Are we 5-piece?
We're like 6 or 7. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could still, I've had more people than
Yeah,
that
no,
come
I'm
in,
sure.
but sometimes
Yeah.
we'll just overdub like some of the instruments so we can
Yeah.
get good separation,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many tracks
I
can you
think-
record at once?
At once, with live inputs here, 10.
Hmm.
I could obviously get more preamps if we needed to, but
Yeah.
or we could just I have other studios where I can get like 60-something inputs that
Cool.
we could track at if you want a bigger place.
There you go.
I mean, maybe that's the next right step.
That is.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir. Because we are wrapping it up. But I just wanted to point that out. I love music.
I like where you were going
Yeah.
about
It's
the
the center.
repertoire. I don't
Yeah.
think you want to name some of the non-original songs we're working on, some of your favorites that we're doing.
What are we doing? We talking about Someday Soon. You sing that
Or
one.
any of them.
But well,
Yeah, Someday Soon.
um,
We're doing a
Yeah.
lot of they had a bunch of covers that I came in and like auditioned with
yeah.
that you
Yeah.
guys had already
We
been
do some
working
Grateful
on. So
Dead
I guess
stuff like
right,
Friend of
yeah.
the Devil. And,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I want to do Ripple. We haven't done Ripple since you've
Haven't
been
done
here. And
Yeah.
I don't know
Friend
what
of
else
the
do we
Devil, Wagon Wheel.
do. Gentle on My Mind.
Oh, not Free Fallen. What's the Tom Petty one we do?
Flirting with Time.
Flirting
yeah.
with Time.
In
Yeah.
the meantime, we could catch you every once in at Longboard.
Well, the
Oh,
rock and
yeah.
roll band plays at Longboards. We have a
Okay.
couple of shy people in the Foggy Dogs that we're trying to coax them into performing
We
in
could-
public. And
Yeah, that's true.
and it took a while. Our lead singer in the rock group took some convincing, and then the minute we got him up on stage, it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's
For sure.
there. And so
Just to clarify, the rock group is John has a second band
yeah, the
that
electric,
he's
the
put
electric
together.
Dogs.
The
Electric Dogs.
and
Nice.
it's about half overlap with the other group. But we
Okay.
play straight rock and roll and electric rock and roll. And,
Yeah, and you did do longboards.
yeah,
one
a couple of
time. It was-
times. Well,
yeah, it was
a couple
great.
of times now. Yeah,
You guys sounded great.
And, yeah, it's I like longboards because it's if you show up early like we do, like there's nobody in the bar, so it's very unintimidating.
Yeah.
If you're performing for the first time ever, and the only other people in the audience are the other bands waiting to go on, and they were very supportive. And
Sure.
So it's good. It's a very kind of low risk, supportive environment for getting your first ever stage time.
And that's the part of it for me. Like I'm on the stage, but I'm usually supporting people artists that are on the stage, and that's what I am. I'm the one person in the stage just like loving music, loving that you went out and did it. So I think the recording part of it will encourage the shy ones to be like, you're just following suit. We already made the song. You know what I mean? We have it played out, and then Ian can make performance tracks or whatever. Because it's a live band, you're going to be there. But I just think it'll be really cool to have a sample of like what you're already doing, because it's enough. We can do it,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
talk to me after.
Okay.
Yeah. And the moral of this story is, when you hope for something and it's possible, do it.
Absolutely.
And on that note, so what's our sign off again?
That's it.
No.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
I like it. That worked. It works. I used to say the best
That's all,
ending for a
folks.
travel story was, and then we
I'm
went
gonna
home.
go back and
And then we went home.
no, because it's on the last episode. I think
Hey.
that's
Yeah.
it.
I like it. That's it.
That's it.
They say the nation that we live in is immaculate. They say we freed the slaves. I say we right back in it. Try renew my mind. The devil sees a crack in it. He kind of cracked me up, but man, that dude is passionate. Pass the torch before I pastor it. Before I master it, I must master it.
Yeah, man.
Is that yours?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the one I did the little
Nice,
spoken
nice.
word to.
At the party?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, you spoke slow enough. I have a problem with rap. Is it like when people talk quickly?
Yeah.
I can't process it in real time.
Yep.
And by the time that's a good line.
Yep.
And then 5 more have gone by. It's same thing with Shakespeare. I think I was telling Sarah, I can't process Shakespeare in real time either. It's like, that's a good line, but it's like, but you spoke slowly enough. Like, I got that. Okay, good.
I mean, and that's
Yeah.
a thing in music, like to be able to articulate. But what I know as far as like the music now, it's still pulling from the old school. Like think about James Brown, where it's like you didn't hear anything. I don't even know what he's saying. So I can even appreciate the kids
It's the
now
rhythm,
that do the mumble rap.
Yeah.
But it's a vibe.
There's a mumble rap. That's a thing.
It's like you don't understand but
Well, that brings everybody down to my level then, yeah.
it's so many categories and catalogs of like. There's music where I'm just like, this is trash, and I can't, and it's the older version of me like fighting, you know what I mean? But then there's actual, like, hey, it took, like you had to be there to make the music. It's not about like all these plugins and the technology that can take over, like AI can just smoothen things out.
Yeah.
But as we're merging into this like new world, there's going to be a new generation that has a mind of like, well, we grew up in it. Like, think of the kid that grew up into Instagram and social media. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I'm still fighting in the middle, but I'm learning to appreciate all avenues and all, so where I do appreciate articulating the words, I can also appreciate, like I've been in studios where like somebody will just come in, zero, didn't write anything, and just be like, and next thing you know, it's words. You know what I mean? It's like you get the vibe first, get the melody, get the cadence going, and then replace it with words.
My problem, I think, is maybe because I was a writer, when I hear a good line, I want to like savor it and think about it. And it's kind of like, taking a bite of food and savoring it, but there's more coming into your mouth.
Oh, man.
And like shit, I got to swallow it. There's more coming.
Well,
and that's the problem I have with a lot of
different
hip-hop,
kind of listening.
Yeah.
It's just sort of tuning in a different way. I think it's like what you were saying, a frequency adjustment.
Yeah.
When I'm in the booth with Ian, like it'll just be me and him, and I'm like stuck. I'm just like, and he might he's catching the vibe, the frequency, and he'll plug me a whole line, a whole bar for me. I'm like, oh, that's it. If I go to like maybe 4 or 5 of my songs, it's not like it's subtle, but I can hear it like, damn, he said a sick ass line for me, and I'm the one who's getting the credit but we're in here working. I think of this as like a battleground, but also this idea of just creating. I'm taking on energy from Sarah, from John, from Ian, and we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always careful about like when I say I want to be involved with something, I just want to be there. I want to be a witness and observing like the moment that you guys said, hey, let's do this. You know what I mean? So I
totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
So my daughter, is a senior at Lewis and Clark in Portland. And she's a double major in biology and then there's a combined major of sociology and anthropology. And she's had to do some really interesting, like, ethnographic research. And one paper she wrote was the impact of the audience on live experiences, or like being the person in the room when other people are jamming and what you contribute with your energy. And the listeners are a total part of the experience, you know, and you're like, your energy invites, and like you're creating safety and like fodder for other people to grow off of. And so it's like, that's a really generous offer.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate it.
Well, I love that about Sarah is she was a guest in her own house. First of all, she just got here. But like the way I even got in the house, I'm calling you, I'm like, she's not, because, you know, by the time I got there, it was a vibe. So I'm saying when I got there, you were like, just kind of looking at you, I was like, you were enjoying it like entirely. Obviously, you still needed to be of a host.
Yeah.
But the best moment was when we were just, it's like the end of the night, 11 o'clock. You're like, oh, I got ice cream. I was like, I had this whole thing set up, and it was like, that's where, because just behind the curtains, behind the scenes, that's why I offered. I was like, I can literally be that. In my culture, that is like the ultimate service is to actually serve people. So, and my mom being a caterer, that's kind of, and I'll be more clear on what I mean about that, because I definitely wanted to be there in the sense of just being, you know, hanging out and having that healing spirit.
Yeah.
But those little elements, those are like pieces of the details that I really enjoy. Like
contributing to an event.
Let me set out the food for you, and then everybody just hang. I mean, we had a good time.
Yes, please.
But those little moments where it's like,
yes, please.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Let's do that.
Yeah. But had a good time there. Ecstatic dancing. Let's get it right, guys. Come on. John, amazing. Great interview. Thank you for coming in. We welcome you again. This is you're an honorable guest.
I did a lot. Thank you. Yeah.
Foggy Dog, if you guys ever come in the Pacifica area and you're looking for some good music, obviously we got a bunch of venues out here, Winners, Longboard. Is there another one over there in Lindenmar area that you go to, or?
There used to be one down at Lindenmar Shopping Center. I don't know if
Okay.
there's
Cheers.
The other one I think of
Are they
is
still there?
No, they're long
Chit Chat
gone.
Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chit Chat
Chit-Chat is
Cafe,
kind
I
of a
know, has
folky
live
place,
music.
yeah.
No,
I
Chit Chat
haven't
Cafe
spent
has a
much
little
time
bit.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in whole, we invite all you guys to come to this podcast freely, listen in. The next right step, our next adventure, we don't know what it is, but we got a bunch of guests that are interested. I wanted to tell Sarah, I'll talk to you about it, but got a bunch of interested guests.
Yeah,
and
me too, actually.
definitely love you, John. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Tell us where we got
Thanks
that coffee
for
again.
sharing.
Oceana Market.
Shout out to Oceana Market.
That's it.
That's it.